Everything you have ever learned about the red planet is a fabrication and a fundamentally flawed image. We picture a stagnant, frozen wasteland of rusty rocks where nothing moves, breathes, or ever really evolves. But that picture is wrong, because Mars is not dead. It is merely dormant and hiding nature.
The deception starts with something as basic as color when you peer through a telescope from backyards.
Ancient Egyptians knew it as the Red One, and Romans projected their bloody god onto its glare. When Viking landers made history touching down in 1976, they beamed back surface-level color photos.
The initial broadcast revealed a sky that looked shockingly blue, familiar, and almost Earth-like to our eyes.
But mere hours later, NASA technicians recalibrated the color balance, and that blue sky vanished from view.
The sky was actually a creamy salmon, or perhaps a butter toffee hue, resembling a terrestrial desert dusk.
The redness visible from Earth is an optical trick caused by a microscopic layer of oxidized dust.
Mars is not red to its core. It is simply wrapped in a rusty blanket of dust.
Mars, however, has barely any atmosphere to speak of, with a gas envelope less than 1%.
It is so tenuous that if you poured water on the ground, it would boil and freeze.
Yet Mars possesses a sky, and its color is dominated by suspended magnetite and hematite dust particles.
But the real magic happens when the sun goes down, and the sunset logic is totally inverted.
As the sun dips low, a cool blue halo erupts around the solar disk, freezing into ice.
The dust geometry forces blue light forward toward the observer, while the remaining sky stays a tan color.
The sun appears shrunken, only 2/3 the size of being 80 million kilometers further out in space.
At noon near the equator, your boots might feel 20 degrees, but your helmet would be freezing.
For centuries, astronomers assumed Mars was a desiccated husk, until Mariner 4 flew by confirming our fears.
As better probes arrived, a new narrative formed, showing massive valleys carved by rushing fluids and deltas.
Mars had been wet, extremely wet, and signs pointed to a singular, massive feature named Oceanus Borealis.
The culprit is the lack of a magnetic field, which died around 4 billion years ago today. Without protection, the solar wind began to strip mine the atmosphere, carrying it off into deep space forever. The ocean evaporated, the rivers halted, the water cycle broke, and the planet was effectively skinned alive.
But the soil held a nasty surprise: perchlorates, which are toxic chlorine-oxygen salts found everywhere on Mars.
That concentration is toxic, attacking the human thyroid, shutting down hormone production, and killing plants by stunting. Mars is not just cold, it is chemically hostile, with dust finer than talcum powder charged electrostatically. Experiments show tumbling quartz and magnetite together can chemically force oxygen from one mineral to another one.
Salty brine seeped through rocks, dissolving clays and overwriting geological history like someone burning the library books.
However, in April 2025, data from the InSight lander dropped a bombshell regarding liquid water reserves.
Seismic waves revealed fractured rock saturated with liquid water, sitting between 5 and 8 kilometers underground today. The volume is staggering, enough to cover the entire planet in an ocean nearly 800 meters. It is trapped in the crust, kept liquid by pressure, changing the game for deep subsurface biospheres.
If life ever evolved on Mars, it might have migrated downward as the surface slowly died.
It could be down there right now, swimming in the dark fractures, completely cut off from radiation.
We can't drill that deep yet. Our best drills on Earth struggle past 12 kilometers deep.
But knowing it is there,
redefines the planet. It isn't dry, it's actually hiding its water.
And it isn't geologically dead either. In May 2022, InSight detected a massive magnitude quake.
Scientists assumed it was a meteor impact and searched for a crater using every orbiter available.
They found nothing. The quake came from inside, meaning it was tectonic, even without plate tectonics.
The cooling contraction of the planet creates stress until the crust snaps, meaning Mars is creaking.
The Cerberus Fosso region is particularly active, showing repeating quakes that imply active fault lines exist.
If there was a northern ocean, where is the beach? Because we see features looking like coastlines.
They are warped, rising and falling by kilometers, and water does not rest on a slope.
The solution might be true polar wander if heavy Tharsis volcanoes shifted the planet's spin axis.
The crust would have tipped, warping the old shorelines long after the water was completely gone.
Or perhaps tsunamis wipe the beaches clean. Impact simulations show a 30-kilometer crater generates waves.
These waves happen every few million years, scouring the coast and burying evidence under total chaos.
Speaking of chaos, look at the northern plains, which are littered with millions of distinct boulders.
Theories range from impact ejecta to freeze-thaw cycles, but a compelling idea is catastrophic submarine landslides.
Massive collapses of sediment on the edge of the ancient ocean floor transported these rocks kilometers.
Mars is a planet of violence, and that violence extends to its moons. Phobos is doomed.
Orbiting just 6,000 kilometers up, Phobos moves so fast it laps the planet every day.
But it is spiraling inward at 2 centimeters a year, and it is a pile of rubble gravity holds. Mars is tearing it apart, and we can see stretch marks, distinct grooves on its surface today.
Within 40 million years, it will cross the Roche limit and disintegrate. Mars will then possess a ring. A dark, dusty halo of shattered moon that will eventually rain down on the equator, scarring Mars. This may be a cycle where moons form, break into rings, crash down, and repeat eternally. Which brings us to the ultimate question. Are we alone when we know Mars had ingredients?
Water, heat, organics. Perseverance drilled a sample called Sapphire Canyon, containing organic veins and spherical structures. These resemble microfossils, but chemistry can mimic biology, so we cannot be sure until getting tubes back.
The sample return mission is the Holy Grail, and we need to analyze rocks with massive synchrotrons.
But even if those rocks are empty, it doesn't mean life never existed on the red planet.
We have explored less than 1% of the surface, so maybe life is deep underground.
Maybe it was erased by diagenesis, or maybe it is waiting in the ice right now.
Mars is not the dead rock you were taught in Scoop. It is a dynamic, shifting world.
It has a beating seismic heart and a hidden ocean.
It lost its magnetic shield and suffocated, serving as both a mirror for Earth's potential future.
We are currently watching the Perseverance Rover crawl across Jezero Crater and listening to quake echoes.
We are mapping the ice and have learned more in the last 2 decades than prior history.
Why did the dynamo fail? How long did the blue water last? Is anything?
The samples are waiting. The drill is turning.
Mars is not what you think it is.
It is stranger, deadlier, and more hopeful than we dared to imagine. And that
is why we return.
If you want to support the search for these answers, please hit that like button. And subscribe to Winds of Thought, because we are decoding the universe one mystery at a time.